Do you feel like you're always criticizing and judging yourself for not eating perfectly? Do you feel like you're punishing yourself by doing more exercise or depriving yourself of pleasurable foods later? You might be taken over by the food police when you're eating. The food police is that inner voice that you hear criticizing yourself whenever you eat in a way that you don't approve of. It could sound like, "What are you doing? You're such a pig. You're so lazy. You're not allowed to eat carbs or sugar or fat or whatever it is. You have to punish yourself for eating in a way that you feel isn't perfect." These thoughts are doing you much more harm than good. Where did the food police come from? You weren't born with it. It came from your environment, whether that was authority figures like parents or teachers, or it could be your peers, your friends, other kids around you, and of course the media, which is always giving us messages about food in a moral way, a guilty pleasure, or this is the perfect way to eat, or the healthy way to eat. And over time, we internalize these thoughts and take them on as our own. So it feels like our own voice that's kind of making these judgments whenever we're eating. Now, when you're constantly being monitored and criticized every time you eat, this causes a stress response, even when that voice comes from yourself. And you know what stress does to the body physiologically? Over time, when you constantly have that low level stress within you, because if you think about it, you're eating every day, several times a day. And if you're constantly criticizing yourself, you're getting this stress response all the time. And that creates hormones like cortisol that flood your system and actually tell your body to hold on to weight, to fat, and not lose the weight. And this is scientifically proven. Most of the time it comes from belly fat, or it's stored around the belly area. And belly fat contributes directly to chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes, which is one reason why stress is so bad for us. Being constantly ruled by the food police is absolutely a cause of stress. But the good news is it is in your control. Now, you don't have to change anything immediately, but start to really get in tune with your thoughts as you're eating. Next time you sit down to a meal, really try and pay attention to that inner dialogue. Now, don't only think about it, actually physically write down what you're hearing as you're eating these. And this is a really powerful way to actually come to terms with what's going on in your mind and how this could be contributing to your eating behaviors and stress. So write it down physically and then read it out loud to yourself. And then imagine yourself saying these things to a loved one as they're eating. And this can really give you good insight to whether or not your inner food police are running the show. Next time, we're going to talk about kind of a counterbalance that can come out of this. And it can be in also a destructive way, which is the inner rebel. And that's going to be our next video. So stick around, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video on the inner rebel.